This is how to actually master the art of conversation with girls. Being someone who couldn't have a conversation with a girl if my life depended on it throughout all of high school, to now having spoken to thousands of girls across many different countries and cities all over the world. These are the 3 life-changing lessons that I wish I just could have told my younger self. Now, starting with the basics of actually starting the conversation. There's no perfect way to start a conversation. That's the first lesson that you really got to ingrain in your mind that I wish I just could have shaken into my younger self. Because I remember one time when I was in high school, I was walking around school with my friend, and there was this girl who I saw, and I was like, oh damn, she's really cute, in the library. And he was like, okay, go ahead and go talk to her. And I was like, nah, I can't do that. He was like, why not? And I was like, trying to discuss with him what I should say, trying to tell him why it's a bad idea. And before you knew it, the entire class period that was 45 minutes long passed by. The bell rings, I miss my opportunity. And I just ask a friend for her snap, and I start snapping her like a simp. That's what I used to do back in the day. Whereas now, this weekend, I was out with my boys. We're drinking, we're at this bar. Across the bar is a small bar, so it was real close. I see this blonde, I'm like, oh damn, she's sexy. I'm gonna go talk to her. So I just leave the friend group, I tell them to go talk to her. I go up to her, ask her name, ask her a couple questions. If she's working, studying, she's studying at the college here. We start talking about that. A little conversation, I get her snap, and then I go hang out with my boys and I text her later. You know, it's that simple. It's not that complicated. It's so easy to start conversations with girls. That's just the last time I talked to a girl this past Saturday. But I've done this so many different times, sometimes where, I'll get rejected right off the bat. I'll be honest, right? That's a part of the game. You're just gonna get rejected. And if you can accept that you will get rejected some of the times, you'll have so much more success, because when you can detach from the outcome, you can just go up being the best version of yourself and not worry about it going perfect, thinking that this girl's gonna be your girlfriend, overplaying the situation in your mind, trying to make it go perfect. That's when you'll have the most success. When you're just like, whatever, I'm just gonna go talk to this girl. If it goes good, it goes good. If it goes bad, who cares? Whatever. That's when you have the most success, and you cannot think of a perfect way to start a conversation. If you try and plan it out, if you try and think too much, you're only gonna make it worse for yourself. You're only gonna make it harder. So you just gotta realize that there's no perfect way to start a conversation. Just go up to the girl, say hi. My personal favorite is asking her name or some sort of environmental question. Like, let's say we're in line for the bar and she's in front of me. I'm just like, oh yeah, have you been here before? What do you think of the place? Something like that. And you can just have a conversation evolve from there. There's no perfect way to start. Sometimes you just end up in conversation, but I love asking girls their names. That's probably one of my favorite things. I've used it millions and millions of times, and it works every single time. So for that reason, I built you guys a conversation mastery guide, breaking down all the ways that you can start and have and maintain great conversations, breaking it all down so it's super simple for you, and that's going to be completely for free. It's the first link in the description below. And now the second lesson takes place once you're actually in conversation, which is going to be connect, don't impress. See, when I was younger, I didn't think I had anything good enough about myself to get girls, so I never even tried. And then once I tried getting girls when I was a little older, I had a very low social IQ, so I just struggled to connect with girls on any level, and I was just impressing them, but it was nothing impressive, so it just got rubbed the wrong way. Once I finally read books like How to Win Friends and Influence People, Captivate, things like that, it made sense to me, and I was like, oh shit, it was this simple all along. All I had to do was just have a meaningful conversation and talk to them about themselves and answer some questions about myself. That was it this whole time? Fuck. All right. So I started doing that and things started to go well. So now when I talk to girls, the impressive part is that I have social and emotional intelligence that I can actually develop a connection with her. So when we sit down, we have a real meaningful conversation, and I can get to that point very quickly. I can build rapport on many different layers, so it builds this unbreakable bond where we really feel like we're connected, that there's things that unite us. And that's what the girls really appreciate. They don't want you to try and impress them. So if you're out here trying to impress girls, you're doing it all wrong. You should just be focusing on developing an emotional connection with them, and you'll have way more success. And the only thing that you should be trying to do is build yourself up aside from talking to girls. So, if you're building your value in many different areas of life, on the time when you're not talking to girls, when you're not out partying or cold approaching at the gym or whatever, then girls are just going to see you as impressive naturally, and you don't have to speak it. It's going to be portrayed in your body, in the way that you look after yourself, between, your skincare, making sure you got a clean shave, your haircut, the clothes that you wear, if you got real nice style, like when I go out to the club, I got tailored blazers. These things get noticed. So that's what's gonna be impressive about you, is who you are, besides the fact that you are someone who is very emotionally in tune and can develop a great connection and build rapport on many different areas. Don't worry about verbally impressing girls. Let the good impression happen without you saying anything. That's the best way to come across. You're going to come across as very humble and very genuine that way, and you'll have the most success. And now the third and final thing to take into account is that energy beats words. If you get your energy dialed in, if you can be extremely comfortable socially, if your mental health can be great, if you remove your depression, your anxiety, and you can really develop social skills and get into a good mental flow state, you never have to worry about what words to say at what time, because your energy is just going to be contagious. Energy is always going to be having a pickup line that you watched on YouTube. Oh yeah, say this at this time. That's fucking lame. That's a geek. You're never going to get girls that way. But if you focus on improving yourself, if you focus on, delayed gratification activities, reading books every single day, meditating, gratitude journaling, reflective journaling, learning about yourself, really getting in touch with your emotions and feelings, and having high levels of empathy, so that when a girl, you see a little nonverbal expression, you can understand what it means and you can feel what she feels. You're going to be 10 times smoother than the guy who just tries to rely on pickup lines or saying this at this time. You need to really become someone who is socially dynamic. If you're socially dynamic, you don't have to worry about what you say in terms of thinking it through, because you're just going to say the right thing naturally. If you want to be a natural, if you want to be smooth, if you want to be charismatic, you have to build it from the ground up. It's not something that's just going to happen overnight. See, for me, this is what I really did when I was 19, which allowed me to get to the point where I am now. When I was younger, I just didn't know what steps to take. But now, after doing the journey, it's clear as day what the steps in the journey allowed me to accomplish. So the delayed gratification activities of reading, meditating, and journaling were the things that really developed my mind and me internally, and it really filled my mind with great things to talk about. And it developed me into someone who is kind of a jack of all trades. I can talk about anything. I can go left, I can go right, I can be this person, I can be a chameleon, I can be whoever the girl wants me to be. Now, on the other things in terms of improving mental health, I also removed all instant gratification activities. So all the vices that just constantly bring you down, that lower your dopamine levels. When your dopamine is naturally very high, you're just going to smile more. Your eyes are just going to be lit up. Like when there's a drug addict has that look in their eye that's just so dull. And then, they get sober and there's that clearness to their eyes. You have the same effect when you're constantly playing video games, watching porn, just doing degenerate activities, scrolling all day on your phone, smoking weed. It's going to have that same sort of dull look in your eyes. You're not going to be perceived in the same light. But when your mental health is great, when you don't do that bullshit, your eyes are clear. People see that you're just this fun, positive, optimistic person. They want to be around you. They want that energy that you have. They're going to want to absorb it because you're just so contagious. So there's so many things that you can do to improve your energy, and I just gave you some of the best ones. But you got to understand that energy is always going to be more powerful than the things that you say. So if you're just this fun, magnetic, charismatic guy, you don't really have to worry about what you're going to say. So now that you know, there's no perfect way to start a conversation. You just got to kind of get into it. My personal favorite is just to go up to a girl and ask her name and then start talking to her about herself. Now it's just improving yourself across the board. It's a lot about self-development, and then just going out there as the best version of yourself and chatting to girls, just asking them their name. And that's all that really goes into it. This is what I wish I could have told my younger self. If I could have sent this video back in time, I would be 10 times more successful with girls than I am now. And I could have started when I was way younger in freshman year of high school, and I would have killed the game all throughout high school, because even though I didn't have the body until senior year, I still know that I could have killed it, because I see guys now who are skinny or fat getting girls. It's not like it's too important. You have to just more understand social skills, social dynamics, really improving yourself. And if you have the right frame of mind, if you're really got that energy, like on this lesson, these little things don't matter too much. You can have tons of success no matter where you're at in your journey. And once again, I break everything down for how to start and have great conversations in the Conversation Mastery Guide. It's completely for free. That's going to be the first thing in the description below. You can grab that now.